Hello everyone, this is Lloyd from Bizzfo with a tutorial on capturing your GRV items or supplier invoices, and also how to set your product cost prices. So let's start up with a quick overview of the system quickly. On our inventory side, what we're going to do, your items that you're going to capture now will show up in your inventory. Let me just select my factory, and you'll see there's a pie and coke here. So all your items will be listed here per branch. You can do quick filters on your suppliers, and you can double click or just click on your edit button, and then you'll get the product details, but more about this a bit later. So what we want to do is we want to start our business off by creating supplier invoices. I'm just going to maximize the screen. So looking at this screen, it's split into two sections. We've got our capture supplier invoice and also our inventory item. The reason it's done like that is sometimes, or especially in the beginning, when you're capturing an invoice, you might not have the stock item in your system, so you would like to do it on the fly. And this is where you would use this screen. Let's quickly go, starting at the top. Let's say we have a supplier that we want to add. We can click on our plus button, and we'll call this one Checkers. Let's save it, and we can use now our back button to go back, and then we can select Checkers. Important when capturing your invoice, we by default enter the first three characters of your supplier. I would recommend leaving it like this because you will get overlapping invoice numbers. So I've just selected the arbitrary invoice number, and now I'm going to start with my product. Important to note this one, a unit price could be included or not. So typically the bigger guys that are VAT registered, you'll find that they give you excluding VAT, and the smaller guys, they typically don't have VAT, so they'll give you an including price. Alright, so let's go. I'm looking for Coke. So we've got one pie and Coke. It's not what I'm looking for, but Coke will do for now. So I'm just going to take the Coke. I'm going to add Coke. Alright, so note you don't want to enter the item code in here if you're creating Coke, because remember it wasn't found. You actually want to go to your right hand side at your inventory. So if I wanted to create an item code for this, it could be a barcode. I would enter it here, and you'll notice the grayed out boxes you can't edit, and the orange ones and the white ones you can. So just quickly staying on the inventory side, so I'm capturing Coke. What is quite nifty is the stock low and the minimum. So what we want to get to is we kind of showcasing this to you to force you to think about what your reordering level should be. So let's say I want a low quantity of 6, minimum of 6, and maximum of 24 Cokes. So what this will do is as the Coke reaches the quantity low level, you'll be able to get a suggested order from the system, which is quite nice. Looking at this, I can set a main menu, and let's have a look if we've got drinks here. Drinks. So we don't have drinks, so I'm just going to create one. So there's drinks. So Coke is now drinks, and this is just the previous product details. Here's my GP, and what am I selling my Coke for? I'm selling one Coke for 15 Rand. Alright, so I'm hopping around, but this is what this section is about. We'll get to this a bit later. I can add the product manually or edit this product, but remember this one doesn't exist. So just jumping back to my Coke. This one by default is stock. I'll do showcase one now. So if you're doing a delivery item or some form of expense, you would just enter it here. Okay, so let's say we're taking one and we're getting a 6-pack. And we are paying for that 6-pack, we are paying 35. So what the system will do, it'll calculate your unit price. It'll say you're putting 6 items into stock at this unit price. Just note there is a discount, so you can enter the discount if you got discount from your supplier. So in this case I'm not going to add it. There's my net price, there's my VAT, and good, this is what I'm paying for my item. So just having a look again, so I'll see that 583 is matching my net price. Now it's calculating my GP for me, and that is my fixed retail price. So I'm clicking add item. looking at what has happened now at the bottom is I can see this is the quantity I'm putting into stock. This is my cost price for the unit, and VAT and what I'm paying for this item. So just note this column is actually not ticked, so I made a mistake. So there's a little tick box over here, create inventory item, and I want this ticked because I want this GRV to reflect and create a Coke for me. So I'm just going to tick that one. Stock low warning and so forth. So these are all the details of my item. Alright, cool. Let's do another one. Let's call this one Fanta. I'll go a bit quicker. Fanta. So Fanta wasn't found. Again, we got one 6-pack. And let's say it is 40. It's a bit more expensive. And now I can add the item, but before I add it, I just want to make sure that I've got my Fanta listed on my system. And we're saying this is a main menu and this is a drink. So drink is not popping up because it this one hasn't been created, so I just have to type the category in again. And what am I selling this one for? Let's make this one 17 Rand. There's more sugar in it. Alrighty, so let's add that one. Perfect. So it's as simple as that. We can see we'll be creating these items into stock, and then what I can do is I can say I have a delivery fee. So again, wasn't found. It's not a stock item. Let's see, there is a delivery fee, which is an expense. So immediately it posts your ledger, so your accounting is sorted. And what we're saying, the unit price of this one is 50. I'm adding that item. Now it's saying please select a department. So what I forgot is to switch this off because we don't want to create a product. I'm just going to say add, and I can see that is off. Alrighty, so let's go. I can now complete this invoice, and once completed, there we can see the process. So it's done, and let's quickly see Coke. So now I can see I actually have Coke, and the moment I ring it up for my next invoice or bring it up, I can see there's Coke. Perfect. So it's all the details are matching. I'm happy. And this is where we can actually go into more detail of the Coke. Is I can now click my edit button. So you notice this is the screen we showed you first. So this is just showing my supplier. This is per unit or per kilogram. Yes, it's got VAT in this instance. There's my cost price retail. I can add more prices to the system. And then we can look at our item codes. Here's our stock low quantities that we set. We can have more item codes or bin numbers if we need that. And then we can edit the name. But again, this is all done for you in one go, so it's quite quick. So just staying at this screen, invoice is captured, so I'm just going to click search. So this is the invoices I did. If I wanted to edit one, yeah, you'll notice as well it looks as, you won't see the individual items. It's more filtered with regards to your expense category. But I can just double click this one and then it will reopen for me. If I wanted to edit this invoice, I can simply go and reopen it. You'll see it's now sitting on pending. If I wanted to change the date to say no, this was actually yesterday, I can just go and click the date now. And there we go. And now I can go and complete the invoice again. Perfect. Now it goes back to process. So that's done. Credit notes are exactly the same. You can just start your credit note by selecting the credit note over here and start your new process. Starting a new invoice is quite simple. We just click on our new button and then we can continue. So guys, that's a very quick overview of capturing your supply invoices. Maybe just finishing off, let's give you some navigation as to if you want to see a bit more info on them. So let's say we got our factory and we got checkers. We did change the date to yesterday. There we go. So I can see the invoices. What's quite handy as well, if you go a step further and I go to my transactions, I can now go and refresh and I can see all the balances of the suppliers. I can actually see the aging of my suppliers as well. So when do I need to pay them? I can go and look for the supplier. I'll see all their payments listed here, and then we can have a global look at any payments that were captured on the system. We can have a look at allocations as well. So let's say you want to keep track of what invoices you are paying. You can use the allocation screen. Just remember that the filtering is here as well. So if you don't see your invoices, it could be that you've paid them already. And then you can do your make payment against your supplier. But just keep in mind is if you're using your bank import, you don't want to do your payments here because you'll process them double once you import your bank account. Alright guys, so that okay, this is the second time we're not saying goodbye, just closing off on the inventory screen. So I can now go to checkers and I can see what is the items that I've added. And again, this is our edit button or our add button. Just going back to edit, this is the same screen we have to change your items. So if you want to manually update your cost or your retail, you can do it here. Alright. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions, please feel free to pop us a mail at lloyd@bizzfo.co.za.